Greetings in the name of Yahuwah and his son Yahusha Mashiach. My name is Malak Shalomo. Today is the 18th of August 2024. It's 10:50 a.m. Eastern Time, and I'm going to do a trade recap here of my bowling green strategy on Bitcoin. So starting off here, this is the beginning of the session for Bitcoin. This is 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right? So we have these anchored VWAPs here. You see I'm highlighting this red line. It says, come up here. Anyway, can't get it right. So hold on. Anyway, so it's anchored from the open of the ETH session at 8 o'clock, right? So let me just spread this out a little bit. So this is -3 VWAP, lower deviation, -2 VWAP, lower deviation, -1 VWAP, lower deviation. This is VWAP. This is +1 upper deviation. This is +2 upper deviation, and this is +3 upper deviation, right? So moving along in the session here, we have the POC, volume point of control, and that's down here at let's see, roughly 59,220. All right, so we had this pop up here, came up to, let's see what we got up to, somewhere around +2 VWAP, right? And we had this pullback. So in the ETH session, price is still moving around. We had some movement in over the weekend, so I was paper trading it, practicing my strategies, right? So around 10 o'clock here, we had this support at -2, and we had this pop up here. Right, so we took out this liquidity, had a nice pop up to floor pivot R1 and Camarilla R4, right? Took us all the way up here to +1 and +2 VWAP, right? Actually +1, right? And this one here is +2. I hope you can see that though. Is the dash red line. Anyway, this is VWAP. We got the rejection, came back down. Right, we had some liquidity here trying to support price. You see liquidity is supporting price there. We have like a kind of bracketing orders, but looks like they're interacting a little bit. No, they're actually pulling. So they're trying to support price by staying in the book. Right, so price still sold off. We came down here to, this is Camarilla S3. Hold on. Right, so we came back down to the POC, the volume point of control, and around this, I call this the silver pivot zone, right? Because it's bottom central pivot and Camarilla S3. Now, if I have Camarilla S3 and the central pivot together, I call that a golden pivot zone. But when we have the bottom central pivot and a Camarilla S3 or Camarilla R3, I call that like a silver pivot zone, just to kind of downgrade it a little bit. You know what I mean? So moving on here, we popped up, came back up, tested value area high, and -1 VWAP. So I was starting to pay attention here because now, all right, let me just show it here. From a Wyckoff theory perspective, right? This is basically like a selling climax. You see, we have heavy volume here in this area. We have the stoppage at where we could call it the selling climax. We have something like a automatic rally, but basically what it is like an auction between -1 and -2, right? And this is what I call building up the cause, right? The cause for the reversal. So tested up here at value area high, came back and tested roughly around this Camarilla S3 silver pivot zone with the bottom central pivot. Got slight buyers, and then the buyers came in here at the central pivot, right? Took us back up here, and this is my entry. So that's the strategy. We're looking for an auction between -2, -1 at a pivot zone, right? We also have the volume point of control, which is supporting the trade as well. We have the POC from the market profile, right? All of this is a supporting area, and we're getting the accumulation here. So took the entry here, the breakout of -1, and also a breakout of value area high, right? So this was a nice little setup here to take this trade. It had a lot of factors in it to support the reversal. So went long here at roughly 59,450, right? So we pushed up to VWAP, pulled back, retested value area high and the top central pivot. Right, so we started to rotate between value area high and the VWAP. Got a little retest here again of -1, basically around my entry. So this is my entry point here, right? So that green line right there. So got a retest of the -1 VWAP, value area high, top central pivot, and we pushed off again. Broke above VWAP, nice strong buying, and this is what I like to see as we break above, right? I like to see when we're breaking out of certain VWAPs and deviations, I want to see heavy buying, right? So this is good buying here. The volume isn't that great, but the volume started to pick up, right? So we got a nice breakthrough where we're having initiative buyers buying at VWAP, right? So came back here, retested VWAP, and this is where I took my first take profit, which is at +1 VWAP, right? So it's a -1 to +1 VWAP. Took the first partial here, just below floor pivot R1, right? So it pushed up here to that's +2 VWAP right there. Took another partial here. Let me just open this up. This was another target here, just under R2 and +1, +2 VWAP. Took another partial there. You can see that execution at 6120, right? So it started pulling back from there, from floor pivot R2. We have heavy liquidity up top, looking like it's creating some resistance. We pull back to +2, +1 VWAP, got a little bounce and broke down from Camarilla R4 and R1 and floor pivot R1. And where is it? Where is it? I just saw it. Right. So I just saw it. Where did it go? Right. So price rotated here a little bit, just above VWAP. We pull back to VWAP. Got the buyers coming in from VWAP. Went up to +1 VWAP. And this is where I move my stop up to this level, just below VWAP here. You can see I move my stop up, that purple line right there, just below VWAP. We got that push up to plus, what is it, +1, shallow pullback, just around floor pivot R1. Got the breakout again, and I'm still holding, I think, one more position. We got up to floor pivot R2. Ran into this liquidity here again at +2 VWAP, got the rejection, came back down, retested floor pivot R1, got support and liquidity here, got another push off. This time it created like a lower high. We didn't get close to the high liquidity up here. So at this point, I move my stop up again to this level here. Just see, so it's kind of just below this swing low right here. So I move my stop up and just below floor pivot R1. So I decided if we continue to get, hold on, if we continue to get this rejection here at +2 VWAP and this heavy liquidity, I just decided, well, it's creating lower highs. So let me just point that out. All right, so from this high, lower high, lower high again. So I move my stop up to here and decided to take profit around R1. All right, so you can see my take profit was right here at 59,920, and that was basically the trade right there. Let me just kind of put everything together so you can see the whole trade. 1 second. Right, so you can see that that's the trade right here. It's a breakout of -1 VWAP after the consolidation between -2 and -1. Let me just use the arrows, sorry. Right, so -2, -1 breakout, got some consolidation between VWAP and -1, got the retest, broke out again, took my first partial at +2 VWAP, next one at +1 VWAP, sorry, and then the next one at +2 VWAP. And as we started to pull back and create these lower highs, took profit here all off at floor pivot R1 roughly. And that was a nice execution here of the bowling green strategy. It's a simple strategy using the VWAPs and floor pivots. Well, it's simple for me anyway, you know what I mean? So yeah, this was a nice execution of this trade here. So yeah, that's my bowling green strategy on Bitcoin. And I'm gonna see you all. I think tomorrow we're gonna do some ES futures trading, man. All right, y'all. So y'all be safe and stay blessed.